I'm Michael Reese.
And I'm Woods Davis.
And this is the Digital President Podcast.
We've cracked the code for generating customers online for every business model.
In fact, we wrote the book on it.
We've built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses in as little as 90 days. And the one truth that we discovered is
the best business model is doing what you love and living your life by strategy.
You truly can follow your passion and create the life of your dreams,
as long as you have the right strategy.
If you're a real estate agent and you'd like to learn how you can partner with us to help you implement our strategies and systems in your business so you can make a lot more money and have a lot more time freedom, all without ever paying us a penny or giving up a percentage of your commission, go to partnershipdetails.com and schedule a call with us today. While it's fresh in your mind, go to partnershipdetails.com. Now on to the podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 36 of the Digital President Podcast. Michael Reese here with your co-host,
Woods Davis.
Hey buddy, how you doing?
Doing awesome, man.
Man, the reason I'm excited about this is because I feel like this is actual, sometimes when we get into doing these podcasts, I don't imagine the person listening to it is going to write things down or actually have tangible value that they can do tomorrow. I want to tell you guys, we're going to share with you the top tools. Now, some of these tools, it's kind of ironic. When I was talking to Woods and we were going through it, we just started, really laying out the things that we actually use. And then we wanted to make sure that we captured the scope of everything that was out there that was available to use really as a tool in order to either be more effective or efficient when building your channel and really leveraging content marketing. And content marketing bleeds over into YouTube because obviously YouTube is a content marketing strategy, but there's some things there that we're going to share with you that are just going to make you more efficient in basically attracting customers to your business, specifically with content marketing, more specifically with YouTube. And so as we were talking about what we actually use, when we went into the research phase, there wasn't a lot of overlap. I mean, I guess we're probably using everything. And if you stick around, there's one tool that if I could use one thing over anything else, we're going to talk to you about how we discover that tool, why we're using that tool, how we literally spend our weekends on that tool, and why it's probably the number one thing you should be using in your business. But before we jump there, we're going to just start in no particular order. And Woods, I'm going to let you go ahead and kick this thing off because I'm curious where you're going to start. If you were going to say one of the things that we use most when leveraging YouTube marketing, what tool would you start with?
Well, I think I have an idea about that number one tool that you're going to share with everybody. So I'm going to start with getting organized. And the best way to get organized is to create a plan and create a content calendar, literally getting a system for what you're going to shoot, how you're going to shoot it, and how you're going to actually get video projects to the end zone. And the tool that we use for that is a tool that's available at monday.com. Again, that's monday.com. The thing I like about this tool is that it really helps you, again, organize your content. It has a calendar view. So we can literally look at our calendar, lay our calendar out for the month in advance, and every week know exactly what's going to be shot, what's going to be edited, what's going to be posted, and then what's going to be promoted. And the cool thing about this tool is I believe that there is a free version. If you're just starting out and you're shooting your own videos, you're kind of a one-man show doing all of the work yourself. And then you can upgrade to a paid version that has team access. So everybody can see the production cycle of every video. And it's been really helpful for us as far as getting a clear plan. And again, I love just being able to lay out the calendar, know exactly what videos we're going to shoot and do all the research up front. It makes the creation process of video way more fun when you have a plan going in.
Yeah. And what I would say is Monday, it's an amazing tool. And, it's an amazing tool for all of those reasons. One thing that I want to say about Monday that I like the most, and if you're not using anything to organize your content calendar, then obviously Monday is going to give you that. It is going to give it to you for free. You're only going to be charged when you start collaborating with other people. But I like the one thing that I use it most for is my ideas. For so long, I use Google Docs, I use spreadsheets. I've used everything for ideas. I think ideas are literally the most important thing that you need to have when it comes down to creating content. Your job is to be going out and finding new ideas, organizing those ideas, optimizing those ideas, getting more clear. And so I want to kind of paint a little thing on how our Monday works. First of all, it has automation. So it tells, as you start to collaborate, it tells people who should do what. So, doing content is a process, and you want to optimize a process. So you have production, you have promotion, you have publishing, you have thumbnails, you have, for us, we obviously have a clips channel now. If you haven't seen it, we have our main channel, we have keyword research, all of that content, who's doing what by when. I know every day when I wake up what I need to do. I know what I need to record. I know where I can stab what I would consider is my backlog ideas that I have. So an example would be, and I can link to documents. That's an important thing. It will link to your Google documents so that we use Google Teams, which is probably another tool that I didn't put on the list, Woods. But you can share documents with other people on the team. So for us, we're going to nail down our headlines. We're going to nail down our description. We're going to nail down our email that's going out to people. All of that's going to be organized. So the person who is publishing the video versus the content strategy, the people who are deciding what videos are going to be published, all of those teams can collaborate. And even as a solo person that's doing this all on your own, you want to practice how you play, right? I've always been fundamentally, it's been better for me to teach somebody else what I'm actually doing in real life. And so it's fully customizable in that process. It has deadlines. It has reminders. It tells other people when things have been done. Monday's an absolutely great tool. I would say one of the sexy tools, it's not the hottest one. You're going to have to stick around for the hottest one. But one of the sexiest tools is a thing called Ask the Public. And the reason why I like Ask the Public, as you can see, it's going to give you all of the thought strings around a topic. One of the things that you want to do is, obviously, you can rank for a keyword, and that's a strategy. That's something you want to do. And there's tools that we can help you, or that we're going to share with you that help us do that. But asking the public is going to go into online forums. It's going to organize on social media around a keyword what people are asking, what questions people are asking. And that's, to me, that's commercial intent. If someone's out there looking for something very specific, you want to know how they're searching it. And it's not just ranking for the keyword, it's ranking for the searchable keyword, the people that are out there looking. And, one of my biggest things that I've learned about keyword research is verse, right? One of the things about Ask the Public, it's going to give you the verse content. So this is really important. Think about in your market, like this school versus that school. Verse content is some of the best content out there that is easily to rank for, that is highly searched. If you don't believe me, go check out Ask the Public. You can look for an example. Let's say if you wanted to say you could use Monday or you could use Trello. It would be Monday versus Trello, right? And again, those are just different content splinters around maybe how to manage my content. And so I like Ask the Public because I think the best marketer knows what the person's, how they're thinking, specifically how they're thinking and how they're going to search that, which allows me to produce more content and more videos to rank higher and get more traffic to the channel.
Man, I think 90% of the searching that I do inside of YouTube is probably question based. So I know that just based on my own behavior, that's definitely true. And what's interesting when you mentioned the verse video, like I think one of the top videos on our channel has, 48,000 views or something like that, is a verse video. So there's definitely proof there. One of the tools that you kind of briefly mentioned was Google Drive and Google Docs. Google Docs is a tool that we use. It's obviously a really simple tool. The good thing about Google Docs is you don't have to have some type of program on your computer like Microsoft Word. And then, if you're working from a Mac, maybe you have, Mac's Pages version. It's a good way to keep all of your documents stored online and organized. And one of the biggest things, I think one of the biggest and most important things you can do when you're creating content is create outlines. Probably the number one process that you're going to have to really get good at is just creating outlines, being able to organize your thoughts, get bullet points onto paper, And that's going to help your videos flow a lot better when you can kind of get those outlines in place and organizing them into a Google Drive system. Michael mentions we have a team drive where we can share folders with team members so everybody has access to those. And we organize all of these outlines into a Google Drive folder so we can go back and reference those. And this can be particularly helpful, especially when you start to learn how to splinter content. Let's say that you have a video that performs really well and it's about a specific topic. Let's say that it's you're a real estate agent and you're doing, what $300,000 will buy in Frisco, Texas. And that video really pops for you. And the reason why is because people are interested in searching and looking at homes in Frisco, Texas. Well, you might decide that you want to start to do a series all around Frisco, Texas. So what 500,000 will get you in Frisco, Texas? What 700,000 will get you in Frisco, Texas? So a lot of times on YouTube, when you identify kind of those hot topics, you can start to splinter videos and create related videos to those topics. And when you have all of those outlines in a folder, it's really easy to just duplicate. So every time we start with a new video, we generally duplicate a template that we use, so we're not starting from scratch every time. And so I think that Google Docs is just a good staple to organize your outlines in.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't, and one of the things that I like most is when I'm writing copy in email, some of the best copy, I'm going to actually give you 3 here. But the best copy that you can write is conversational copy at a 4th grade level. And so let me walk you through that. When we talk about using Google documents like Google Drive, Google Drive has actually a tool inside of it under tools where you can do speech to text, right? Really good tool. A lot of the times for me personally, I'm out and about. Maybe I'm sitting at an airport. I have an idea. Somebody's waiting on an email. I don't want to log into the Google Drive app. It's not a good workflow. I've never actually even tried to do transcriptions in the Google Drive app, but there's a tool out there called Otter. And Otter is an app that will allow you, it's a great interface. It's a great mobile application. Let's say, for instance, I'm going on a walk with my dog, right? And that's something I've been doing a lot lately. His name is Duke. And anyway, let's say I'm taking Duke on a walk. I have my phone there and it's on a Monday morning and I want to do content around this topic. And I know that once we're done with this, I'm going to email it out, right? And so I can literally open up the app and say first.contact, print or comma, new paragraph. It's Michael Reese here. Just shot a new video with Woods on enter the whatever episode number this is, for the Digital President podcast. The reason I'm sending you this email is we talked about the top tools that will leverage you not only with content. I can say all of that and it'll type it out. Now, that is huge because conversational content, a lot of people mess up their writing copy. They try to make it too difficult. In fact, like I said, writing it at a 4th grade level is an important thing that you can do. So I'll take that copy or I'll actually take the description. Now, one of the cool things about descriptions is you can use the Otter AI app. So let's say that I'm doing interviews. Let's say I'm interviewing somebody for a podcast and I want to get the show notes. I can actually add to the Zoom call Otter AI. And it'll transcribe the entire Zoom call while I'm on the Zoom call. And I can go back to that Zoom call and pull out those nuggets in order to write that YouTube description. So whether it's YouTube descriptions, whether it's doing a post on social media in general, that's going to then link people to your YouTube video. If that's something you're doing, hey, I just uploaded this new YouTube video. All of those different copies need to be written and you don't have to stop and write them. What I do is we know for everything that we do, what kind of copy is needed because we have a template. So I can speak that content. I can cut it and put it into the Hemingway app, which will then tell me what level that basically it'll check it really for grammar and it'll tell me if I'm using words that don't make sense or it's too passive, and it'll really simplify it. It'll make it really easy and simple to read and understand. And that's very important because you're trying to communicate and things can be lost in translation. So I like the Otter app for your phone and I like the Hemingway to clean up that. And again, we try to do that in advance. Sometimes it makes it a lot easier to do it afterwards, especially like when you're writing the emails. Depending on the topic, if it's an interview, there might be things discussed in that interview that really you want to put in the email as the hook. So those are just different things that you want to consider when growing your YouTube channel. Copy is a huge part of that process, the production process, the publishing process, and having little tools like that have made it way easier for me to get things done on the go and just really be more efficient and ultimately come out with a better product.
Man, I think another bottleneck that you can start to experience when you start creating video, especially for YouTube, is thumbnails. Thumbnails. One of the most important things that you can have for your video is compelling thumbnails that make people want to click your video. Think of your thumbnail as like the billboard for your video. And so there's a couple of tools that we've used for creating really good, compelling thumbnails. One of the number one tools that's a very simple and easy tool to use is called Canva. A lot of real estate agents are familiar with Canva, I think, because they have a lot of good templates that are very easy to use. It's a light web app. It's free. They do have a paid version, but you can pretty much accomplish what you need to do with the free version. And then another tool that we've used for creating thumbnails is a little tool called Sketch. Sketch is a real light. It's almost like Photoshop, but to me it's just an easier version to use. And I know that people can get hung up creating thumbnails. Sometimes it's kind of fun to create your own thumbnails and kind of get your creative juices flowing. But Fiverr.com, and this probably goes across the board for a lot of different, I don't know if this is really a tool, but it's more of a service, is just using Fiverr.com to outsource some of this stuff. So we've outsourced thumbnails to some creators on Fiverr. If you literally go to Fiverr.com and type in YouTube thumbnails, you'll see a bunch of different outsourced options pop up for you to use. I like to sort those based on their ratings and sort those. We generally try to just work with the top level providers, but it's very inexpensive. I think that we pay $5 or maybe $10 per thumbnail and usually get back multiple versions of that thumbnail. So again, I think those are some really good tools for thumbnails. One other thing that I'll mention related to thumbnails is in order to create thumbnails, you want to generally have, if you have a personal brand, which I think most people that are watching this podcast or listening to this podcast is you want to have pictures of yourself in those thumbnails. And generally a good thing to do is to be able to have pictures of yourself expressing different emotions. So maybe with a happy face, maybe a sad face, maybe a confused face. And so one thing and one tip that I give to a lot of people that are just kind of starting out on YouTube is stand in front of a white background and have, your spouse or a friend or somebody take a picture of you, take pictures of you, like kind of like headshots that can be then cropped out and placed on different backgrounds, and have them just Google search a list of emotions and literally read those emotions and have you make the face while they read the emotion. So have them say happy and then you make a happy face. Have them say sad and then you make a frowny face, right? It'll feel ridiculous while you're doing it, but it's going to give your whoever's doing your thumbnails, whether it's you or an outsourced person, it'll give them a big vault of photos of yourself. And I always tell people, wear a couple of different shirts, so it's not you in the same shirt on every thumbnail. But when you have that asset, again, doing these little things up front are going to save you time, and it's going to really keep the process flowing. So you can just focus on your content, focus on quality videos, and not get hung up in the process of like creating a thumbnail down the road. And that's when everything feels a lot lighter and a lot more fun.
Yeah, and I think some of the things that you want to hit there on Canva, one of the things that's best about Canva, for a lot of people, Woods is extremely talented when it comes to design. Don't let him fool you. Maybe one of the best it's their templates. They do have templates. They have templates for, your YouTube, specifically for YouTube, like your intro and outro themes. You're going to have a template there, like your end cards. And I think a lot of people appreciate templates. And so that's just one thing coming from a guy who's not a Woods Davis, never claimed to be, who appreciates the templates. When you go over to Canva, those are things that I think you're going to have a lot of appreciation for. One of our best tools that we use is, well, let me go ahead and set the stage. The number one tool that we use the most, we use it, I'm going to tell you, is called TubeBuddy. And in fact, I'm going to give a shameless plug here. You can go to tubebuddy.com/listing class. That's a shameless plug because they're so good that we've actually started working with them, and they will give you a discount. We'll put a link into the description. We do. Let me give you a little bit, and Woods, I'm going to also have you chime in here on some of the things that I skip, please, because I don't want to not explain this well enough. But we work with people, and one of the most important, we have a team. But when we were doing it with a small team, when I was doing it by myself, doing the keyword research is probably one of the most important things. And it's got a dashboard that will show you when you're doing research how many times that actual term is searched, right? It'll give you an idea. You can drill down into the different words differently from Ask the Public, because what it was going to actually do, it's going to bring the videos in. So a lot of the times, let's say if you shoot a video and let's say you're trying to you want that video to rank, because one of the goals is you want to get into YouTube's algorithm where they're suggesting your video to other people. Well, it's going to show you the top videos within it. It's actually a Google extension. And so let's say I go out and I'm doing competitive research and there's a topic around, let's just say the topic that we're talking about here with, YouTube tools. I could go watch other videos, and as I watch it, since it's a Chrome extension, it will show me the SEO score of that video that I'm watching on my browser of somebody else's video. It will show me their actual tags, guys. It'll show me their actual tags. That is unbelievable, because tagging is a really important thing that you're telling the algorithm. And so a lot of the times, especially when you're beginning, there's going to be people in your market that are a little bit more experienced than you, and maybe they've learned things that you haven't learned yet. So going out and looking at their videos, looking at what videos of theirs are they just randomly posting videos? Do they have low SEO scores? Or maybe this person's doing well because all of their stuff is SEO'd, and look, they have a nice format for their tagging, and they always tag this thing, that thing, their company, their name, those sorts of things. I think that TubeBuddy is probably in a keyword, and in one word, it gives you traffic, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be the number one thing. And what that means is you can shoot great content. You can shoot bad content. I've seen people who've done great on YouTube, and I think their content, when it comes from audio editing, is not good, but they have tons of views, way more subscribers. And that's because they're getting more traffic. And that could be because of the topics that they're choosing, the way that they're SEOing. That is the most important thing. You don't want to put all of that work into creating content then to have nobody know about it. And you certainly aren't going to be tapping into the real power of YouTube if you're not providing them content that people are looking for. And what I mean by that is when people go to YouTube and they're looking for content, the way that YouTube knows you're not producing the right content is they land on your content and they leave, right? And that means you got something messed up there. You don't have the message to market match, which starts with the messaging. What are we going to shoot this video about? Is this video actually something that people are going to find interesting or interested in? What other videos are out there around this topic? All of that research can be done in the Chrome browser, all the way to seeing in fact, with the tags, you can literally hit one button, copy tags. Obviously, remove the ones that aren't that don't matter for your business specifically, and add the ones that are relevant to you based upon your strategy there. But again, it's such a time saver, and ultimately, I think it produces the most value. It's probably the highest ROI. In fact, I would say that if you were going to do YouTube and you weren't going to use TubeBuddy, you probably don't need to do YouTube until you're ready to use TubeBuddy. But go check it out at tubebuddy.com/listing class, and they'll give you a discount. I think they'll give you a free month to try it out. And if you don't want to try the free month, they do have a free version that's very, very useful as well. It gives you access to some of those different features. So go try out the free version. And then if you like it, definitely hop on over to the paid version and get access to some of those amazing features that are going to really give your YouTube channel the traffic that you really want.
One of the things that I was most surprised about when we started using TubeBuddy was the way that SEO works inside of YouTube. So one of the things that it takes into consideration when you're using the keyword planner tool is not only just what's popular in terms of what's being searched, but it's also showing where there's opportunities for your videos to rank, meaning it will show you where there's low competition. And that's what will impact the overall SEO score. So, you might find a really good topic that's very popular, has a lot of search volume, but you have tons of competition. And so you have a lower likelihood that your video is actually going to rank. It's actually going to get in the first page on the search results. But again, on the other hand, you might find something that has maybe a little bit lower search volume or moderate search volume, but there's no competition. And those become great opportunities for you to actually get videos into YouTube that will rank and that will really start to get traction. Another thing that I really like about TubeBuddy is there's a little section in there where it will show you trending topics. And I was actually surprised because I didn't think that it would be relevant to us, where we have a very specific niche audience that's real estate related. I mean, our audience is primarily real estate agents. So we're not going to generally build a channel with, 1 million subscribers when our niche is so small. And so I think this is relevant for people like, you guys, our audience, who are real estate agents, and maybe your audience is even more niche down to a specific market, or even more specifically, people that are interested in buying or selling real estate. But what I was surprised to find was that there were actually, I always look at those trending topics, and I discovered a real estate related trending topic. And that's why we shot a podcast a couple of weeks ago about the top real estate predictions for 2022. And that was a result of seeing real estate predictions for 2022 in the trending topics and us taking advantage of that. And surprisingly, or not surprisingly, when we released that video, we got a lot of traction right up front immediately because YouTube wanted more content around that trending topic. So again, definitely
can I point out
agree.
something there?
What's that?
Can I point out something there?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one thing that if you haven't subscribed to our channel, you definitely need to subscribe and like and turn on notifications if you like content like this. But Woods, you're making a great point. I wouldn't interrupt you, but this is important for you to. I know that you would want me to say this because I know you'd want them to get the most value out of what you were saying. One of the things that we teach, and we've actually recorded a recent podcast on why you should use email marketing. If you haven't watched it, we'll put a link here in the top. But again, a lot of our views, when you said what you said, that prediction, that then translated over to when we emailed our database, right? So like we emailed our database, and so many people from our database came over because they wanted to know what we had to say. And we could have worded that many different ways, and maybe the attention, maybe the interest, maybe the conversation. So we're able to use that tool in that process that Woods was talking about, where it was predictions for 2022. And we were able to take that actual hook, that headline, and take that over into email and bring even more traffic to that video. And so, yeah, I think that's a great point, Woods. And I think that that's why we've had so much success, is because TubeBuddy has given us the ability to tap into that traffic.
Michael, I think that's a great point. A lot of cheat codes being given here, so make sure you're taking notes. If you like this content, definitely give us a thumbs up, and we'll make sure that we give you more content like this. I can tell you another thing that's really important for us is being able to actually see the results that our YouTube videos are producing. And one of the ways that we do that is we use bit.ly, bit.ly, which is a link shortener, and it's a link tracking tool. So we have links to our websites, to our funnels, calls to action that are in our descriptions of our videos. And I think the mental model to use when you're doing YouTube videos is that each video is almost like its own landing page. And in your description, you can put links for people to take action based on the content in your video. So you want to just make sure that you're tracking the amount of people that are clicking those links. Then you can actually start to create a model and understand, man, every time I produce a video, I get X amount of traffic to this site. And that becomes really fun for somebody like me who likes to do the math as a marketer. There's the creative side of marketing where you just want to add as much value to people as possible. But then there's the quantitative side of marketing where we want to count the cookies and make sure that we're getting a result, meaning we are actually driving traffic to our website. We're actually generating clients as a result of the content that we're producing. And so Bitly allows you to track your links. You can use a free version, which is just bit.ly, and then it'll give you like a little tracking code, or you can do a paid version. I think it's pretty inexpensive, where you can have a custom branded link. And one little tip that I'll give you if you're doing the link shortening is that what we do is we actually take one of our websites. So let's take, for example, michaelreesteam.com is the website. Then we'll use tracking links we'll set up with Bitly. We'll use michaelreesteam.co, right? And so it looks similar to the .com. And if somebody was to just type it in based on memory, and they accidentally typed in the .com, they would still get to the same destination. But the .co is what we use for tracking purposes only. So again, that's just a good way to count the cookies. I think another couple of tools that are really good to use, and we'll kind of wrap this up. Streamlabs is a free streaming app that you can use to stream live content, kind of like what we're doing right now. When we record this podcast, we do this live. We record this and get it right out to you guys. And so again, Streamlabs is a good one to use. StreamYard is another one that people use. It's a paid version, but I think Streamlabs does just as good a job without having a paid version. And I think just to kind of round things out, probably one of the most important tools that you're going to be using when you get into YouTube is the YouTube Creator Studio. Starting to get familiar with things like the analytics, starting to really understand all of the tools that are available to you. There's royalty-free music that you can access through the YouTube audio library, which is right there in the Creator Studio. You can actually edit videos in the Creator Studio. We don't do that. However, that is a tool that's available to you. So there's a lot of tools built into that. And like I said, the more time you spend inside there, and you're going to gain more insight into really how to make a YouTube channel successful. For example, one of the most important things on YouTube is audience retention. So you're going to start to find the sweet spot of how to structure your videos so people watch 50, 60, 70% of your videos versus watching, 10% of your video and then clicking off. So again, the YouTube Creator Studio is probably going to be the final tool that's going to be most important for you to use. And man, I think that this has been a good episode. I hope you guys have got some good notes. Again, we always appreciate it. If you like this content, you want us to keep bringing this type of content to you. Our goal is to add as much value to you as possible. The one way that gives us the metric that gives us good feedback on if we're delivering that value is if you like the video or leave us a comment. If you're watching this on iTunes, leave us a comment. We definitely would appreciate it. And also subscribe to the channel if you want to get notifications every time that we drop new episodes. We drop content like this to you. Hit the bell and get those notifications. And with that said, man, Michael, I appreciate you today dropping some of this value. I think you really took the deep dive on YouTube, and definitely appreciate you today. And like we always say, the best life to live
is a life by strategy. Y'all have a great day.